in turns. I know what you're doing. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. My name is Inwills and you have stumbled across the back of Beyond with these really exciting players. We're with one sad empty box up at the top because last week one of the party sacrificed themselves in the name of good and everything that is beneficial. And we'll probably hear more about that in a little while. But before we go any further, let's just go quickly round and people can tell the viewers who you are and who you are playing. Okay, who's going to go first? Cryptex, off you go.
All right, I am playing Ereval Nailo. He is a Elven Ranger who's usually the strategist of the group, but he tends to get a little bit muddled underground, confused, and makes bad choices.
and you're well known for doing something with thorns. You do something with thorns, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, and also if you manage to get two monsters together, you can actually fire 2 arrows. Is it?
Yep.
It's
board breaker, double shot.
It's quite impressive that. Anyway, and below you we have Flat Battery. Yes.
Hi guys, I'm Flat Battery. I play the character of Julius, a level 3 paladin. Normally the real bit of armor around here. Whatever Big Beastie says.
I thought you were I thought you were going to say the real man.
The real hitman.
The real half elf. Yeah, and you're a very good tank, aren't you? If I seem to remember you, it's very hard to hit you. But you don't do a lot of damage going out. Is that correct?
And when it does hit me, it normally hits pretty hard.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, because it's normally got like a nat 20, doesn't it? So it normally sort of like crits on you.
Yeah.
Excellent. And let's zoom across the other way. Down at the bottom, we have got Big Beastie. Who are you playing, Big Beastie?
I am playing Bazooka. He is a level 3 rock gnome. The fighter, the tank of the group.
and one of the two surviving members from the beginning, I do believe.
Yeah,
I think you've been here all 20. With 23 episodes. 23.
I am the OG rock gnome.
Yeah, and I actually posted the link to the first ever adventure that we had in Discord. Because of course it's all videoed. And do you want to know? I had a look at it and I thought, good grief, because we were actually on Roll20 then. We actually had our little boxes on Roll20, so they look tiny, and so I actually put it. But you can actually see it in the D&D campaign channel on Discord if you're interested, but also on YouTube. And above you we have Cloutersin. Yeah, go for it, Clout.
I play Rurik, the dwarf sorcerer, the less tanky-ass person here. I have the lowest HP bar of all the characters.
I think you're one of the people who has been around the same time as Bazooka as well, aren't you?
Well, I missed one game.
Yeah, but you've been around. You started at the beginning and you ended. You're right there up to this point. So doing well.
I must say something funny. Is, like when my character joined the party, it was like, "Hey, I'm a dwarf. Hello, let's team up." With no reason.
Right. I'm going to shut you off now, guys, because it's time to run the introduction for Dungeons and Dragons. we are all back. We are all back. So here we go. This is when I give a quick synopsis of what has happened. So rather importantly, the party have been were willing to venture forth and to secure the cure for fungal plague that has actually infected Rurik. Oh yes, 4 bits. Julius, catch them. They all went in. Don't worry, they all went in. They have managed to, they ventured forth to find the cure, and along the way they have encountered various monsters and friends. They encountered a sister who had a pet minotaur which Bazooka befriended, and has now got the only friend in the world who is called Bruce. They ventured up the side of a mountain and got attacked by harpies, losing horses on the way but managing to resist the temptress's singing. They got to a destroyed abbey where they suffered the riddle telling of a wise old man, and then in the end defeated the guardians and ventured underground into the forgotten, or the crypt of the abbey, where they searched for the well of Sunel, which is fabled to be able to cure any plague, disease or sickness. They ventured through it, disarming traps, summoning up water weirds, and defeating the holy or unholy knights of Sunel as they went. And then eventually they came across the fabled well, and as the sisterhood appeared to them, they were asked to make a choice, and the sisterhood agreed to give them the cure so they could go off and actually cure the world of the fungal plague. But it came as a cost, and the cost that was one of the party had to sacrifice themselves in exchange for the cure. And although Julius was very gallant and pushed his way to the front, the sisterhood reminded him that he missed one important element, or yes, he was missing, he had too many elements, and that it would have to be a female. And so Tenariel stood forward and passed on her weapons and a holy symbol, etc., to you, Araval, I think, and gave you her fable and trusty weapons, and stood into the center of the room, where she was bathed in bright light, and the sisterhood joined hands, and a bright beam of light, ball of light, expanded from where she was. And when it dimmed, the parties were suddenly aware that Tenariel had, in fact, disappeared. Now, I'm going to move you to the room where you were at. And this is when we finished it last week, guys, at this point, yeah?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, and this was the end. And so we will pick it up from this point. The only thing that I will say, Bazooka, I think you've got an aid spell up, is that correct? Have you got temporary hit points still?
Yeah, I got 5 temporary hit points, and I seem to be missing a fishing rod.
Right.
And you seem to be inside a column.
Your aid.
I was here.
Your aid spell, since it was actually given by Tenariel,
It's gone. Okay.
has gone.
Oh, I didn't realise that. Now lost our aid giver.
Okay, and if you remember, there were a whole lot of angels around the room, and they agreed to give you the cure, and Tenariel went into this place in the middle, and that was when the bright light appeared, and that was it. So, guys, what would you like to do?
My fishing rod back.
I would like to have a look at where Tenariel was and see if there's anything left.
Yeah, there is. There is a tiny, almost like miniature drinking horn in there. It's literally only about this big, and it seems to be made out of some kind of flexible material. You would say it's leather, but it doesn't have the feel. It doesn't look like leather. It has a metal surround on it with a metal stopper on it, and it has a small sort of like link chain, one that you could probably wear on your belt. But
So nothing like the ones that we've already got.
no, it doesn't look anything like that at all. It's a lot smaller and it's a lot better made, and there's definitely some kind of magic emanating from it, coming from it, Julius. You definitely
Can I feel any sloshing liquid inside?
Well, sure as you touch it and to pick it up to see whether or not you can feel this sloshing liquid inside, you hear a voice that comes to you in your head, and it comes from the lady who was talking, the big angel lady, the part of the sisterhood that originally spoke to you. And she says, she just says this to you in your head. You can relate it to everybody else at a later date. She just says, "Behold, paladin, the cure for the fungal plague. 1 drop will cure 1 person."
Excellent. I relay this to the others, obviously. I hold it up as like there's obviously a limited amount. We need to make sure that 1 people get 1 drop each.
Yes, and she's quite specific about that 1 drop.
Yeah.
Well, do a drop on, test it on Rurik.
Yeah.
How many drops are left?
1.
There's hundreds of drops within the in the bottle, in the drinking horn. But you can probably try 1 drop on Rurik if you wish.
I do.
Okay, is Rurik going to drink it, or are you going to drop it on his fungus, or?
Shall we test drinking?
Yeah, drop it in a mouth.
So Rurik,
On the tongue.
yeah, that's a good idea, Erval. Rurik, you can probably stick your tongue out, and
Yeah.
Julius can drop one tiny drop. When you take the stopper off, Julius, it looks like it's almost like a pipette. So there's like a long tube that is hidden inside the tap, inside the top. So you can actually squeeze the leather pouch, and you can see 1 drop forms at the end and then drops off into Rurik's mouth. Rurik, can you just make a Constitution saving throw for me, please?
It's poison.
It cures by
Instantly dying.
Yeah.
It cures by
Oh no, 22. 22 is pretty good. Okay, this drop, Rurik, tastes incredibly sweet. It's almost like the nectar of the gods in your mouth, and you notice that as you don't even swallow it, it tends to get absorbed onto your tongue, and it's sort of like you feel this warmthness. Your whole body feels warm as it sort of like spreads throughout you. And Julius, even as you look and everybody else watches Rurik, he almost like glows for a second, and then it dissipates and it's completely gone. And you look at the side of his neck where the fungal plague was, and just as you catch a glimpse there, Julius, you notice that the fungus just shrivels and then disappears. It doesn't fall off. It's almost like turned to ash, and it just shrivels up and then disappears, and then that's it.
I turn to the rock troll. Is like, do you want to try ingest or try on the beak?
Troll? You're going to troll.
So bazooka.
I don't think I was infected, was I?
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, you were.
Go on then.
Okay, make a Constitution save. You're a rock gnome, aren't you?
I am a rock gnome.
Yeah.
Not a troll.
6.
Just troll-like.
Just as you squeeze a drop onto his tongue, you suddenly notice, Julius, that there's fine print down the side, and it says "poisonous to rock gnomes." No, it didn't. Yeah, you get the same warm effect, and it sort of like cures you of the fungal plague.
A big orange man comes from around the corner, slaps you and goes, "You've been tangoed."
Are you flashing at me? Oh, some people is.
I assume the Guardians of Light have disappeared.
Yeah,
There's no sign
they've
of them.
complete. There's no sign of them at all, and the entrance to this circular room is now, if you remember, it was blocked by bright light, but now it's completely and utterly open and accessible.
I think we should go to either as soon as we can back to Sister Hedwig or the sisters in the church and try and get this given out to all the people infected as quickly
We
as
need
possible.
to get to the town as fast as possible.
Yeah. Okay. So, are you quite? Is there anything you want to do as you move back through the underground abbey, for want of a better word? So,
Absolutely not. I want to get above ground as soon as possible.
yeah. Okay then. So I should be able to move you. Just let me check. I'm just moving you. I'm going to move you. Going to move you up onto the up above again. So I'll move you to the abbey. So here's the abbey. If you remember, you come up from this sort of like this is the circular stairway that you actually come up from, and actually when you come up, you notice just I'm going to draw something just to give you an idea, but here, just here, you notice that there's a body lying face down on the ground.
Is it the hermit? The one that was eating rats?
No, it looks, for want of a better word, it looks too full. If that, because he was quite spindly.
It's probably better clothed too, huh?
Yeah, it is a lot better clothed.
Well,
Rory,
I tried to turn it around.
okay, so as you turn it around, you see somebody. You see who it is.
Is it the...
Enter camera! Mr. Sacrificed himself.
Indeed. Mrs. Or Miss.
Miss. Shim? Him?
Shmi.
You notice that it is Tenariel is there.
Is she breathing? Or is it a corpse?
Can I make a medicine check?
Yeah, by all means, make a medicine check.
Nice.
Yeah, very good medicine check. She is definitely alive.
Come on, draw that up more.
was going to say she's alive or healthful.
She's alive, but she appears to be unconscious, Rurik. But she is definitely breathing. You can notice her chest going up and down. She seems quite peaceful. She doesn't look like she's in pain or anything, but she is definitely alive. She almost appears to be sleeping.
I whisper in her
Sacrifices
ear,
us.
"Do you want rotten rat for breakfast?" Does she wake up or not?
That's up to Tenariel. So Tenariel, you hear a rather bristly face going to your ear, and the words, "Do you want rat for breakfast?" being whispered into your ear.
I'll wake up with a gasp and sit up and
She's alive! She's alive!
Someone say rat.
how did I get here?
Or reach your hand out to help her up.
I'll
We,
take your hand.
after you disappeared, we came out with what we came for, and you were just lying here, getting us something. Apparently, you look good. You feel good.
I don't know. There was a bright light and you all vanished. I appeared in my mother's garden at home. I kept seeing scenes from my life, my childhood. And then I was here.
From our perspective, you disappeared. We made our way up through the tunnels and found you lying here unconscious. Perhaps you were being tested in some way. Or we do not know the full extent of the decision that you made and the sacrifice that you made to these guardians.
Or maybe she was on the other side and got reborn.
Maybe she wasn't good enough and they dropped her off.
Maybe Mr. Nereal had can do some good here on this plane.
Or too much drinking.
These are all questions that we can solve later. The good news is that we have the cure, and we should proceed back to the village as soon as possible. We're glad to have you back with us, regardless of what may come next.
It's still good. Wow.
Glad to be here.
Mr. Nereal, you missed a trick here. If you feigned unconscious anymore, we could have carried you back.
I suppose I could always faint.
Or drag him by the arm. Sorry.
Erval, you do have Tenariel's weapons.
I was waiting until she seemed a little steadier to hand
All
it
right,
back to her.
yeah, cool.
We
I
should go
assume you'll
then.
be wanting these back. And I hand out the bundle.
I'll take the journal. I'll take the journal.
Can I look at the medallion of her gun to see if this is the same symbol as before?
The medallion where?
The medallion of her old gun.
The
Or holy symbol that I'm holding.
the holy
Yeah.
the holy symbol that Erval has. Yeah, just make a wisdom check for me, please.
I'll take the journal, Araval, and say I don't need the other things.
You think it's probably the same, Roy, from what you can remember, but you know she tends to keep it hidden at times, and the last time you saw it, she revealed her holy symbol in the midst of combat when there was foul undead. but as Tenariel says, she wants the journal back, I think. But
Wow, she's
Do you-
given up her faith.
Do you
The,
intend to defend yourself on our journey home?
I don't need them anymore.
Do you feel that you are now aligned to a different being or god?
Or Sanel.
I feel reborn.
Oh,
Julius, you notice on her back she has 56 level on her back. No, she's now level 65.
Nails.
You can just carry us all the way.
she's not gonna be one of them, is she?
What's that? What does that mean? She's not going to be one of them.
What a news, angel.
Does her health bar keep growing?
I know that I was just noticed her health bar now is of a 60 level, 65th level. Yeah, she's now got 87 hit points.
As we can carry this conversation on the way. We have a few people to cure.
And yeah, I start making my way. After as I pass Tenario, it's like get heavy big. I put an arm on her shoulder and it's like pat it and then move on.
Oh,
Oh.
that was lovely.
As you do that, I say,
Get away from me!
I fling you afar. It wasn't your time, Julius. There's so much more for you to do. It wasn't your time.
It's like I understand. I hope to eventually that it does, and my life will be complete when it does.
Thanks with that.
If you want Tenariel, back there there's corpses with armors and shield and stuff from your Sanel. Maybe they have a medallion too.
I'm fine.
Does your past still lie with us, Tenariel, or do you have a new purpose?
I'm with you for now.
Then I suggest we start heading home. There's a lot of people waiting on this cure.
Indeed. We should go.
All right, we'll proceed back down the mountain, I think.
As we're walking down, I kind of fill Tenariel in on the moment that she disappeared and describe it to her, or from our perspective. And when I picked up and of us curing the other two,
Yeah.
so we found it.
Cool. So the journey back takes you a little bit longer than actually getting here because some of you are without horses or donkeys, and down at the bottom you make your way back to Sister Hadriel's place and Bruce's, and you manage to actually kip there overnight and sort of like refresh yourselves. There's food and water there, so you can replenish your supplies, and then you notice that she's actually got additional horses in the stables where Bruce and Bazooka sort of like put them the night before when you were there, sorry. And then you can head off back to Clarion the next day. It's really interesting because as you approach Clarion, the mood in Clarion is definitely completely changed. As you approach the town, there seems the streets appear to be almost like deserted. There seems to be nobody sort of like moving around, and a lot of the houses, you notice that the doors are boarded up, and on some of the houses they're boarded up, and there appears to be sort of like a red painted huge cross across the doorway. And you notice that as you approach outside the the town, there's these huge pyres, these huge piles of ashen, what appear to be corpses that have obviously been set on fire and burnt, and now are have been put out, and probably by the normal dampness in the air. You notice that the streets are empty apart from guardsmen, and they're not walking, they are definitely patrolling. And you do notice at one point that somebody opens a door, obviously trying to come out, and the guardsmen quickly jab with their spears to get the person back in and order them to bolt the door. And you always like hear them saying harsh words, you either bolt it or we'll batter it and board you in. And it appears that the whole town of Clarion, since you last left, is almost in martial law. It's, you know, the townsfolk appear to be not in control anymore. It appears to be the guardsmen and the guards are doing it. Your favourite inn is boarded up and completely boarded, completely round. All the windows are barred up, etc. And I'm going to move you on to a familiar place for you.
What about the church?
Well, you notice that the church, as you approach and come into the town, there's sort of like the guardsmen sort of like look around at you, and they're sort of like, you can hear them muttering. They're walking around in twos, and they're muttering and sort of like giving you sideways glances. And as you walk through the town of Clarion, through the streets, heading towards the church, it's almost as if as you look behind, it appears that the guardsmen are falling in behind you and sort of like keeping their distance, definitely keeping their distance, but sort of like walking with you towards the church. You are met at the church entrance by Bruce Bazooka is stood outside, almost on guard, and he has his huge axe like over the entrance to the door, and you can almost like hear from inside various moans and groans, but that is not the thing that is actually putting you off the most. As you get closer and closer to the church, the thing that really starts to put you off is the smell. And there's this smell of almost like compost heaps. You know, when vegetable matter like plants and fruit is decaying over a huge amount of time, that's the smell, like manure, sort of like fills your nostrils as you get closer and closer. As you approach the cleric, Bruce sort of like it's very hard to see whether or not what facial expressions a Minotaur has, but you almost like think he smiles a little bit, and as you go past Bazooka, he sort of also, you go like that as he gently pats you on the head, but with his power, it's almost like it could have quite easily squashed you in. And you're met at the door by Sister Hadriel and the cleric of the village. And Sister Hadriel, Tenario, almost looks at you, almost as if she's puzzled, as if she's not sure about something. And then the cleric of the church turns around to you and says, "Please tell me you have it. Please tell me you have it."
Sister, we do have what we went out to seek. We need to have access to the inflicted to be able to kill them one by one in here, and also the rest of the town that we have.
Perhaps we should give it to Sister Galadriel. She would be the best way to distribute the cure.
I think we should. Well, either way, if we do a house by house.
Sister Hadriel turns to you, Araval, and says, if you tell us the instructions, we can administer it. But, Paladin, there is something more pressing for you to attend to.
Is it the beast?
You need to see in order to believe.
I pass it the healing cure to Cryptex. As I tell them, and watch over them as well as they do it. Only one drop per person from these vials.
I will see to it.
As you look through the doors of the church, you actually notice that the floor is covered, literally covered in moaning bodies. Some of them have blankets over their heads already. Some of them are just writhing in pain. Some of them are just moaning. But every part of the floor is covered with some kind of decaying or dead or moaning or writhing body. It looks like you think probably about 80% of the town folk are here in some way. Sister Hadriel sort of like, and the cleric sort of like picks up they listen very carefully to your instructions and goes off, and as they go into the room, you hear Sister Hadriel say, the cure is not for the dead. Anybody, she's you just hear her, she's talking to the cleric. She says, the cure is not for the dead. Anyone who is close, ignore them. Just give it to the people who have a chance. And they go off, and she turns to you all and says, your help is no longer needed. Support your friend, for there is a bigger problem at hand.
Did you ask for Bruce?
What?
I thought you asked if Bruce could help us.
Yeah, we're gonna hang out with Bruce.
Maybe we asked
Are
if we
the
can
guards
borrow
still
him
watching
to-
us?
You notice that the guards have sort of like it's a good question. The guards were some distance off, and they sort of like hear what you've said, and you notice that some of them are actually stood waiting, and just make if one person makes a perception roll, and you can have advantage of it. So the person who can do it the best, probably.
I've got a 5.
Not me.
Okay, so so 23. You actually notice that some of the guards that are now waiting outside the church, you notice that they have various stages of the fungal plague. So some of them have toadstools and bracket fungus sort of like growing out their neck, or sprouting from their ears, or creeping out from their hands. You figure there's almost like all of them have it to some degree already. And
It's like one old man hair, isn't it?
yes.
Going out and
Just
Just
slightly
thinking, how come
shroomier.
it affected them so quick? Yeah, Rurik, he's had it for quite a while now.
That's exactly what I was going to say to you. It's quite amazing how quickly it's taken hold of the town.
You know that dwarf are resistant to poison and such because we drink too much beer.
Yeah, that's a good way. Good
I'm
way
gonna
to
approach the guards on the way out and say, we may not have been able to save everyone, but you can rest easy now. There should not be any more dying.
They look at you and bow their heads in sort of like almost like humility, as if they didn't trust you before, but now they really admire you, for want of a better word.
So is the guard captain still here?
No, but there is one of the guards sort of like points you back to where the cage was, where Julius, where you can remember, for those of you who haven't watched all the streams, and if you haven't watched all the adventures, then shame on
Shame
you.
on you.
A few episodes ago, the captain of the guard of the local town of Thorndyke appeared, and when they actually appeared, they actually came in with a young man that they found in a caravan that the party had been traveling with, and the caravan had been completely and utterly ransacked and destroyed, and from completely. And the only person that was alive or left alive from that onslaught was this lad, this 18-year-old, this wiry, skinny lad, and they put him into a cage and actually brought him back into Clarion. And it was interesting that when they actually came in, the only person that he seemed to be almost like laughing at the party, and kept careful eye on Julius at all points, and was very intent on looking at him, and now and again just gave him almost like a sinister smile. If you want Julius, if you want to add anything to that, then you're quite welcome to.
So when I joined the party, I was on my own mission to hunt a beast that has been stalking the wildlands on where we were when we actually some of our party got infected by different means, and this beast was very
big.
That because I couldn't effectively track it as well as I thought. I was trying to desperately try and find it. Every stroke of midnight, it will give a howl in the distance, and it will be like almost tracking me or the party that I was in as well. And then it stopped for some reason.
And you do not know why.
And we found out that there's some druids that make diseases, evil druids. And we know from Longsheng that druids can take the aspect of animals or beasts.
That is true. And there is presently at the moment, if you remember, there is the party stumbled across underneath the local manor house a portal that there seems to be somebody preparing for some kind of invasion, and there seems to be 4 elements to that: darkness, doom, dread, and death. And one of them, the Doom people, are a series of what appears to be evil druids of some description. So there might be some links there. Right, guys, as you can, I've put on the this part of the adventure for you, and all I need you to do, can you see where the cage is now? Can you see that all right? So all you need to do is I just need to know, because I've just sort of like brought you across from how you were before. So what you need to do is reorganize yourself into how you're coming down that how you're coming down towards the cage.
Leaving the church, I want to make one last attempt to return Tenario's weapons to her. telling her that it looks like we're going to need to defend ourselves. There's some threat rising here in the town. Would you please take these back so that you can
Defend yourself.
assist us in repelling whatever threat we come against?
I will take them, but I cannot use them.
As Ereval tries to hand you back your weapons to Neriel, and you refuse to use them, but maybe agree to take it back, you feel a presence to your right hand side, and just looking, it appears to be it's Sister Hadriel, and she seems to be holding out what appears to be a mace. It's quite ornate. It's not like a club. It's definitely a mace. And she sort of like holds it out to you and she says, I think you may be needing this.
It is the holy hand grenade.
Can I give her my light hammer?
I'll give her a slight bow and take it and say thank you.
Okay.
We can't see that happening, can we?
Lady Haladriel's there. We can see her. You're mistaking her for the well guardion that's been speaking to her.
Yeah, I thought it might be a premonition through someone that she might know, kind of thing.
Can I roll a religion to know if clerics like to use the weapon that their god like to use?
Yeah, by all means.
And whereabouts is Bruce?
Bruce is guarding the door as instructed by Sister Hadriel.
Because you said, like, when we was walking through, he patted me on the back, so I was gonna.
He patted you on the head.
Or on the head, sorry.
Yeah.
So I was gonna go and stand with Bruce and just shoot the breeze with him.
Yeah. Rurik, you know that a lot of the time clerics of certain gods like to, well, a lot of clerics like to be like their god that they serve. So a lot of clerics will try desperately to sort of like be the same as their god. So
and use their favorite weapons.
Yeah, if at all possible. But obviously, you know, if it's a 10-foot two-handed sword or something like that, then maybe a little bit impossible. But yeah.
Do we know if the god, was it Sanriel?
Sanel.
Sanel.
Snell.
Likes to use a mace?
Well,
yeah, but like their sister would all use a mace, so it makes kind of sense.
You haven't actually, apart from what you've picked up during the adventure, you haven't heard of the goddess Sanel at all. So you just know from what you've learned on your travels through this series of adventures. But so anything within there that I think, like Rurik says, you know what people was wearing down and what they attacked you with, etc. So you might have some idea.
I'm still wearing the studded leather.
Yes. Yeah.
Has Tenariel acted strangely at all in the last couple of days on our voyage back, other than being kind of distant and confused?
Other than I'll have taken my 4 hour on, 4 hour off watch as normal. But I will be sitting and meditating for quite a while after that. Probably off by myself, you know, a few yards away from the camp. She doesn't talk, she just sits.
Do you think we should return to the manor? Because it's ours, actually.
I think we need to find out what Sister Haladriel sent us after.
Yeah, I'll turn to Sister Haladriel and would you like to show me what was occurred?
She turns around to you and she says, you need to go back to the cage. She says, my duty lies here with the dying, not with the dead, but with the dying. And she hurries off back and starts to administer the cure.
Cool. So turn to the party. Is I'm going to check out this cage. Do you want to come along?
Do a 2x2 down the street.
Hop like a bunny and all that.
Bazooka, you going with them? Yeah.
Sorry, what they doing?
Are you going with them?
Yeah, why not?
Yep. Okay, so as you go down the street lights are on. So there's enough light. So and in the darkness, any shadows your dark vision picks up. And so, although it's a bit spooky with all the the dead and the dying and the red crosses everywhere, you don't feel as if you're being watched or anything like that, apart from some windows. And when you have a look over to them, it seems to be the townsfolk, sort of like peering through the shutters. And as you get to exactly where you are, this guard sort of like steps out, and you notice that he's got his sword drawn. It's not sheathed, and he seems to be in battle readiness. He's definitely in battle mode.
I'm going to draw mine.
Yeah.
You're muted, Bats.
Okay, we'll all go into battle mode, as it were.
I'm going to put my hand on the pommel of my sword, but not draw it. I kind of tell everyone to just stay there, and I'm going to approach the guard.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm going to stay out of his weapons range.
Yeah, just make a perception roll.
Okay. Perception. There we go.
You notice that the guy in the cage, you can see almost like a crumpled form, sort of in this corner, as if you remember last time you saw him, he was shirtless and just had sort of like ragged trousers on. And what you can see now down in that corner, it's almost like when a dog has a blanket and it wraps itself up in it, or somebody does that and puts it over their head to keep warm. It's like that, and it's as if it's got the curve of the guy's got the curve of his back towards you, Julius. So he's sort of like all wrapped up in the blanket, it looks like. And
do I know if any of his proportions have changed? If it's still looks the same shape as him?
It looks the same shape as him. It's just that he seems to be all curled up, and he wasn't before. If you remember, he was just slouched in the corner, but he was actually sat up. He looks like, imagine that there's been a really cold night, and he's just sort of put the blanket over his head and curled up. And you can see that there's another guard here that you can see as well, who's also got his sword and shield out.
I turn to the guardsman and say, well, Mick Guardsman, I've been informed from Sister Eladriel to come here.
As you approach, he sort of he looks at you and he says, "You don't want to come here. Step back. Step back."
What is happening? What has happened since I've been away?
Nothing.
Are you in control of your own faculties at the moment?
Step back. You need to step back.
I take one step back.
I will
And-
cast this and use the mage hand to remove the blanket from the man.
Oh, good. That won't cause any problems, I'm sure.
Okay, so Rurik casts a spell, and you notice that the blanket round the body slowly pulls away. It pulls away, and you see the guy underneath the blanket. He's curled up, so you can see his spine towards you, and he's almost like in a fetal position, curled up like this. So all you can actually see is his spine, if that makes sense, yeah. And he's facing the other way from you. You notice that neither guard does anything at all.
I would like to cast Divine Sense. See if I can feel anything.
Yeah.
And I'll post it up.
Yeah, cool.
Copy paste it.
What time of day is it?
It's about 10 o'clock at night now.
So it's the presence of strong evil registered with your sense like an noxious odor. The power of good rings like a heavenly music as an action. You can open your awareness to detect such forces until the end of your next turn. You can locate any celestial, fiends, undead within 60 feet of you.
There's actually there's quite a noxious odor coming from round this area, although you don't know whether or not it's joined in with the general deafness and decay that's around here. But there definitely is an unnatural odor. You don't know. It's definitely not a fiend or undead, but it's definitely something not quite right. It's almost like once you cast Divine Sense, you get that prickling down your spine, or that goosebumps, as if something's not quite natural around here. And not, when I say not quite natural, it's definitely evil, not natural, rather than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Did the guards notice the blanket being moved or react at all?
Yes. Well, you're still quite away. It's only if you come within 5 feet of him, he will react, and you're still some distance away from him.
Did he react to the blanket moving in the cage?
No, sorry, neither of them did. Sorry, no,
Okay.
neither of them did.
Can I use my mage hand to turn the head of the guy to the side of fireball?
You want to do what to him? Sorry.
Take my mage hand and turn the face of the guy.
The one.
His entire back is turned. You'd have to twist his whole body for us to see his face.
Yeah, you're going to have to sort of like reach in and grab his shoulder and sort of like pull him towards you.
Can I do that with the mage hand?
You can have a go.
What's the weight limit for mage hands? Is it 25 pounds?
It's 10 pounds.
10 pounds. Okay.
10 pounds. Yeah, and yeah. So you reach out with your mage hand and you move it, and he almost like you feel that there's no resistance, and he sort of like rolls over, and he just seems to have this grin on his face, as if he's been, when somebody's been play acting, and you go up to them and you think they're dead or asleep or something, and then you turn them around and they're not. It's a bit like that. Erval, you can make a perception roll now.
I got too close, huh?
Okay, you notice that this guy in front of Julius seems to have some kind of claw mark down his neck. It's as if 3 claws have been sort of like scraped along his neck.
I would start approaching him, holding my hand out in front of me and saying, "You need to get a hold of yourself. Sister Haladriel sent us to come investigate and to help you."
Do you want to move to... Are you moving forward, did you say?
Yeah, just a few feet,
Yeah.
trying to get his attention.
He sort of
And,
like backs away, so he's now almost like ready to defend both of you. And he sort of like goes, "Don't come any closer."
we need to know why.
Stand back.
Whatever this is, we can help you. But you have to tell us what's going on.
Can with religion, can I know if a certain spell exists, or it's out of my reach?
It's out of your reach. Erval, you notice that this guy here seems to be almost like shuddering and shaking, and he sort of like his sword and his shield has just dropped to the floor, and he just seems to be shaking, and all of a sudden he drops to his knees, and it looks like he's going to puke. He looks like he's going to throw his guts up on the floor, and he's just sort of like heaving and heaving and heaving, and then all of a sudden there's this almighty tear of like flesh ripping, and it's accompanied by this almighty scream as his whole back just pulls apart, and for one moment he's actually there, and then in the next moment he's literally no longer there, and in his place there seems to be, or there is, some kind of wolf.
I knew it was.
The
Quick,
wolf.
poke him with a stick.
The wolf
That was
almost like rears up on his back legs, and that is when we'll have some. Let me just clear it, guys. Some initiatives.
Was that the one I saw the claw marks on, or was it the closer one up front?
No, it's the one with the claw. Oh, nice one, Bazooka. To answer your question, Tenariel, yes, you can.
Yep.
Am I selected? Yeah.
Yeah, I beat Bazooka.
Yeah. We all knew it was the wolf.
yeah.
Is it a full moon, by the way?
No.
It's not a full moon.
That
No.
was dark.
Okay, Julius, you everybody is aware and everybody's actually seen and heard this. So you know everybody can act straight away. So Julius, you are up.
I take out my sword.
Cool.
And I use the pommel of it to beat down the guard to my front to try and knock him unconscious.
Excellent. Make you to hit roll.
Okay.
11.
Okay, so you reach out and you try to whack him on the neck. You do manage to make contact with him, and he sort of like he falls down, face down on the ground, and he leaves go of his sword and shield, and then you suddenly notice that he's starting to convulse on the floor. Okay, I'm up. So this werewolf here, for want of a better word, bounds up onto the cage with 2 easy strokes and then comes down in front of you, Julius. And it takes a swipe with its claw at you.
Is he on top of the guard that collapsed?
Yeah, he sort of like landed, sort of like straddled him, and 23 probably hits you,
Yes, it does.
and you take 7 points of damage.
Damn.
Tenariel, you are up.
I will cast Aid on Araval, Julius, and Bazooka,
Cool.
so they get 5 extra HP.
Can you still do it?
Thank you.
I am level 57. I can do anything.
Ooh.
Beast. Changing your religion and stuff. I thought it might
Have
be.
I?
Who's got
Should
the aid? Sorry.
Julius, Araval, and Bazooka.
Bracketeer loves to give aids to people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good aids.
Araval, you are up.
Is there a way to determine if he's kind of taken this stance to protect that guard? If his actions seem defensive?
Roll your. Do you have a survival skill?
Of course, I have a survival skill.
Yeah.
I'm a ranger.
Yeah. Roll your survival skill.
Damn. 22.
No, you think it just landed on top of it to get Julius.
Okay, it just happened to be where the location.
Yeah.
He's thinking more offensively.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a small step back. I'm not sure on the scale how far away I actually am.
It's to scale via the ruler, so that'll put you 10 foot
Okay.
away. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Does the survival check count as a bonus action if I wanted to cast my hunter's mark?
Yeah, that's your
I can
bonus
still do that?
action. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just shoot at him for this one. Then.
Cool. 23 hits. Yeah. 9 points damage. Cool. Let me just go back onto this. Excellent. Ulrich, you are up.
I will cast Burning Hand with the secondary level slot.
Cool.
You need to make a dex save.
Yeah, I'm just working out. It's a 15-foot cone, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's going right the way back to.
It might catch the cage on fire.
Yeah, I think it's actually going right the way. Which way are you firing it? If you're firing that way, it's going to catch Julius because it's coming out as a cone from you.
I would like to. Whoops.
I think he's looking at the edge of the cone.
Yeah. How do you draw a line?
Aim for about there.
So
There's nobody else.
it's going to catch Julius a little bit, but I'll just move forward a bit.
Just center it further down.
Can I move here? Or it will still hit Julius?
The best place to move so it doesn't hit. Do you want it to? What you're trying to avoid? Tell me what you're trying to avoid.
I'm trying to avoid Julius and the guard that's on the floor.
Okay, well it's going to avoid the guard on the floor in any case because it's the same height as your hands. Okay, but it's coming out as a cone, so it comes out that way. So if you edge your hands down, it would hit him, but it's just going to go out. I didn't know whether or not you're trying to avoid the cage. Are you quite happy to hit the cage?
Yeah.
Yeah. So all I would do is just move here and fire it because 15 foot from there is going to go there. So there's no way it's going to come to here, the 15 foot. Sorry, I'm on.
Yeah.
It's going to go there. So basically it's going to come out like that from your hands.
Yeah.
So it's going to easily miss Julius there. That's cool.
Okay.
Okay then. So I do a dex saving throw, don't I?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's 13 and above.
13. So 14 would do. Yeah.
You receive 8, I think.
8. Cool. Let me just check something. Yeah. Yeah. Okay then. So you fire out your burning hands. You place your thumbs together and shoot that. There's this awful singeing of fur as the wolf in front of you sort of like gets engulfed in it. And it's quite nice to see Araval because it comes out in that cone, but where the werewolf is, it sort of like wraps around him and there's no flame directly behind him. It's quite nice, but the fire goes on. And let me just...
Any flammable...
sets on fire, yeah.
Set on fire.
Yeah. Yeah, so the whatchamacallit, the cage... The cage is now on fire. I was just going to get something for you because I can do this.
Did the flames reach the body at the other side?
Oh, is that going to set the building on fire as well?
The building's probably quite damp, so it might do. I'll do a roll for it. The cage would definitely set on fire. Well, I'll check the building in a second. Well,
Depends on the special effects budget.
Yeah. 1d20. Let's have a look. It's definitely started to smolder a lot down here.
Oh, wow.
So this Sprocketeer, this is the special effects budget. Just just here. There you go.
It's the Ryanair of special
I know. It's as if you are there.
I can feel the
I
warmth.
was going to say, it's feeling pretty warm.
You can feel the warmth happening.
What happens if we hide the crayons next time?
Then if you hide the crayons next time, then this
You
happens.
draw it
You
in
don't get
blood.
you don't get no fire effect.
You stop existing.
You just go, and that's it. Okay, Bazooka, you are up. I like the sound effects from this.
It's good, isn't it?
Can't hear
I
it.
can't hear nothing.
Can you not?
Yeah, I don't hear anything either.
There we go.
There we go.
Got that.
Okay. So I am gonna move up alongside Julius, and I'm gonna aid him in his next attack.
You're going to help.
So
Yeah. Cool.
I've got aim left, right, and centre. Jeez.
Yeah, you have.
So you, Julius, you'll have advantage next round, next attack.
Sweet.
Okay. So Julius, you are up.
I'm going to attack the beast that's... you're not the beast. The beast to my front.
Yeah. Cool.
I think she is.
Yeah, talk about my bed. 20.
20. Yeah. 25. That's definitely a hit. Yeah.
Natural 20 plus. So that's 7.
7 points damage. Cool.
Even on a natural 20, I still get single digits.
You're a bit confused at the present moment in time because you're all aware that in legend, werewolves are not actually able to be damaged by sort of like normal weapons, and yet your weapons are actually causing physical damage to these, and you can feel them actually digging into the side of the wolf and leaving gaping holes on the side
They
of
are
it.
made of silver.
So this is the werewolf's roll at you, Julius.
Nope.
7 misses, and for its second attack, because it has multiple attacks, for the
We saved the best for last.
its second attack, it bends down. It bends down and actually takes a bite out of the guard underneath it. It actually does, and just bends down, and you hear this almighty crunch as it sort of like clamps its jaws around the guard's neck, and you almost like see the head go like that as the teeth of the wolf comes together, and then it just brings its head up, and you see the guard sort of like starts to come up, and then you notice that its head just falls back down again. It's sort of like totally decapitated, and the wolf has variety of, well, it's covered in blood round its maw, but it also has the odd trachea or windpipe hanging out as it does, and it just sort of like shakes its head like this. And Rurik and Julius and Bazooka, there's this shower of blood that comes onto you as it sort of like hits you. Tenariel, you are up.
I am casting Bless
Cool.
on Bazooka, Julius, and Aravel.
Okay.
Oh,
You're doing what?
Just
you don't know. You're busy. You just
you're busy. Just do what. Just link it in the chat so we can see what it does.
yeah.
Oh, now he can do it. Oh, I'm not allowed to do it.
So there's a spanking.
Give it time.
There's a spanking. Oh, sorry, sprinkling of holy water. So 1, 2, 3. They all get. It's 1d.
See.
It's 1d4.
1d4 on an attack roll or a saving throw.
Yeah, cool.
I feel this like spritz of water hit me, and I instantly turn around and look at Julius.
Is it? What level are you casting it at? Just level. First level. Cool. Yeah. Ereval, you're up.
Got a couple of questions. This cage is on fire now, right?
Yeah.
Did the flames hit the figure in the back?
No, because they stopped here, because that was a 15-foot.
And he hasn't reacted at all? Or we still don't have any indication of whether he's alive or dead?
He was rolled onto his side. He just seems to be watching the what's happening. It's almost like morbid curiosity. He's just sort of like watching it.
All right. I hate having to do this, but I'm going to drop my bow and take out my hand axe. I'm assuming it's padlocked.
Yes, it is. Just
I didn't mean to drop.
Just
Okay.
at this side. Just where, can you see where that line meets the cage?
Yes,
Just there. That's where the padlock is.
I didn't mean to draw that line.
Yeah.
I'm going to move up and attack the padlock with my hand axe. I don't know if that put me within range of him. Try to avoid it if I could. But
Yeah, just make a to hit roll so I can make sure that you hit the padlock. It's not very strong, so you'll probably be able to.
Or not.
No, you can have advantage on it. That's not a problem. So you sort of like
Okay.
whack the padlock, and the padlock comes away from the wooden surrounds. So the next round you'll be able to open it or go in, depending what you want to do. Now, Rurik, be careful.
The padlock was unexpected of the attack. That's why you got the advantage.
Well, it can't actually
I caught it
move.
by surprise.
Yeah, it can't actually move out the way. So
I'm not in the range of the werewolf.
no, you would have to step forward if you wanted to be in the range. You can step up though if you wish. Oh no, you won't get. No, what you meant to say to me is that if you move away, will I get an attack of opportunity? And the answer is no.
I will sacrifice some of my level 1 spell, gain sorcery points,
Yeah.
and I will say to a revolt to move out of the way.
Okay. Bazooka, you're up.
Yeah, I'm just gonna aid Julius in his next attack.
Okay. Julius, you are up.
I'm going to do the same thing.
Cool.
Where's my thing? 16.
16. Ah.
Uh-oh.
No, that hits. That hits. 9 points of damage. Thank you. Okay, you now figure that this beast is sort of like down past half hit points, just so you know. And it's my turn to hit. So this is claw and bite. 22?
Is that against myself?
Yeah,
Yep.
that's 6 points. And bite will miss you on a 14.
I'm no longer under aid. Does the bless do anything?
Did you...
You
You
didn't
can
use your
choose
bless
to
on the
use it for the
attack.
attack roll.
no, he didn't.
Oh, I didn't.
He didn't need
Yeah.
it because he hit in any case, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, so that's me done. Oh, so the guy in the cage, Araval, shows you crack open the lock. Suddenly, quite almost like supernaturally springs, so he's like on all fours, almost like cat-like, as if he's about to pounce. And he did it almost like in a split second. 1 minute he was just sort of like being all pathetic, and the next minute he's a woo, like that. And he's you notice that he's got this this red glow in his eyes, and he smiles somewhat, and you notice that he does have quite big canine fangs. Okay, Tenariel, you are up.
How many wolves are there?
Well, how many fingers you got?
I am going
I don't need my toes to count.
doing nothing. I'll get my mace ready. dropped my sword, bow, and stuff. And I'm moving towards Aravol.
Okay,
To that there.
cool. Okay, Arval, you are up.
Well, all right. I'm gonna open the door.
Okay, so you open the door. Do you wish to do anything else?
Well, he's obviously up. I'm gonna say, get out of there before you catch on fire.
Okay. He'll need to. He's used his action up for this round, so he can't actually do anything to next round. But he's obviously acknowledged it.
Okay.
Rurik, you're up.
I'll sacrifice 3 sorcery points to ready level second level spell. And I wait in action until Aravol move out of the way.
Okay, cool.
I confused.
Bazooka, what you doing?
I want to know why the wolf is out instead of being in the cage. I thought he was the wolf in the cage.
Who? This
No.
wolf that's attacking?
Yeah.
Think of it as he's turned the guards into wolves.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I'm just gonna do the exact same thing.
Okay. Julius, you are up.
Cool. I'm gonna whack him with my big the thing. 20.
Yeah, that hits.
And 10 to damage.
Nice one.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so this is Wolf's turn now. So this is the wolf that's attacking you first, Julius. Julius, yeah?
Yep.
17 a miss for its bite. And 14 a miss for its claw. The one, the door's open now, isn't it, Arval?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
The gate to
So the beast, the lad in the cage turns round and just springs towards the open door, and as he springs out of it, he almost like bashes his way through half the cage and over the top of your head as he actually transforms into
A Decepticon.
somewhat of a much larger form of the wolf that is attacking at the back. It leaps right the way up over your head, and you actually follow it up as it jumps over the top of you. It shatters a lot of the wood, and you suddenly think he literally could have done this any time he wanted. And he sort of like he goes away up over the roof, and he's currently out of your sight. And okay, Tenariel, you are up.
After witnessing that, I'm going to turn to face the other one, close to it, and knock some holy sense into it with my mace.
Excellent.
Take that, heathen scum.
You obviously
And I miss.
you miss. Yeah, it's paying attention too much to Julius at the moment. Okay, Ereval, you are up.
I'm going to move back this way, retrieve my bow from where I dropped it, and also looking onto the roof to see if I can see where the other creature went.
Okay, just make a perception check. You think you can hear it scuttling around on the top, but you can't actually see it at the present moment in time.
Okay.
Rurik, you're up. He's out the way.
I will use 2 sorcery points to cast Enlarge Person, a gem.
Yeah, who you enlarging? Julius.
No, I'm enlarging a revolver and the cage behind the wall.
What?
So the cage will use the 2 square behind.
You're enlarging Eravol, yeah?
Yeah.
And then you're enlarging the cage as well, yeah. So you all see the cage enlarged. Remember, the cage is on fire. So Tenariel, this is suddenly next to you now as a burning cage, and Aravol's got a lot bigger as well. Okay, this we'll see what happens next round, because I think now Bazooka, you're really close to that fire. You're probably not this round, but the next round you're probably going to have to move out the way or start taking burning damage, and the same with you, Tenariel, and the wolf. Okay, Bazooka, what you'll find this round, Bazooka, it'll be next round that if you don't move, you're going to take burning damage.
I'm actually gonna take a swing at it.
Cool. 21 hits.
Sweet.
And I'll take a step back.
That's
10 damage?
No, it's 8 damage because it's.
It gives you the 2 in
8 plus
case you
2.
had the advantage.
Yeah, but you haven't.
Oh,
You have
okay.
another. I'm waiting for your second attack because you have 2.
Sorry.
11 misses, so it's just 8 points damage.
There we go.
Cool.
2 crits where you can't use them.
Okay, Julius, you're up.
Storing my life.
You're muted.
I'm just not used to this muting business. Standard procedure. I see an enemy to my 4. Give it a swing. 13.
Hang on. I think that hits. Yes, yeah, it does.
Awesome. And now I have coffee. 11 damage. Going up in the world.
Yeah, you take your sword, and as you swing round, you sort of like it avoids its claw, and you manage to slide your sword neatly just underneath its rib cage, and sort of like you feel it come out the other end, and it just sort of like makes one last howl, and then it sort of like slides down and just slumps on the floor,
You're welcome.
deaded.
$38 kills.
So you guys now need to move away from the burning sort of like cage and building.
Are we still in round or initiative?
No, sorry.
So that other one just took off, I'm guessing.
Yeah, you're not too sure where it is at the moment.
Hang
on.
Your hearts took
hang on.
off you now, Jules.
Hang on, I just need to move my map a bit because Eravol went so far off it disappeared off the screen.
Do I feel any presence?
Can Eravol see better because he's bigger?
He can scan the rooftops now. Yeah, roll a perception. Yeah, you can actually see the big wolf. You can actually see where it is. It appears to be.
Is there 2 of my tokens on this map? There are.
Yeah, that's the little one of you when you go
It's
back.
little me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
She called him
I'll put
Mini
him back
Me.
where he was. I was just trying to look through the map to see where you were.
yeah.
And
You
indicate him.
you actually see the werewolf or the wolf charging. Well, it's about over here, and it charges across.
Can you do that again? I gotta. Let me
Yeah,
zoom
so-
out.
I didn't see that.
You got it?
No,
Nope.
I'm still not seeing anything.
Hang on, let me change my layer.
In the while we're waiting for
Yeah.
any.
Oh, up
So-
north. Okay.
I do protection from evil.
Yeah. Link it for me. Yeah. So the you see it almost like running across the rooftops, and it launches itself almost like through the actual fire, and you actually notice that its fur takes no damage at all. It doesn't even smolder one little bit. And Bazooka, you see Julius whacking some holy water around the place, and it actually launches itself.
I instantly take cover.
It launches itself, and it lands straight on you, Julius, and pins you to the ground. And you notice its huge mouth gaping above you. It's landed, so its paws are on slightly below your shoulders on either side. So it's like your shield arms down there and your sword arms down there, and you're looking at it through your visor, and it's just sort of like there, and you can see a bit of spit drooling off it, and this sort of like landing on you, and it comes really close, really close to you, and you can almost like smell its breath through your visor, and it appears to almost like whisper to you and just says, "This is not the end. This."
I headbutt it.
This is just the beginning. Bazooka, do you wish to do... I'm just checking. Tenariel, do you wish to do anything?
This thing's landed on Julius. Oh,
Yeah.
yes, I'm going to have to try and help. Run to it and smite it.
Go for it.
And miss again.
You actually do make contact with it, but it's as if it just hits it and slides off the beast's hide. It doesn't even seem to part the fur at all. Erval, you're up. Yeah, Hunter's Mark. That's your bonus action.
I was trying to remember what I said last week. It was by my eye and by my hand. I will attack it. I shouldn't have any problem shooting over them with my height bonus.
No, there will be a bonus but to his armor class, but I'll just add it as you're firing. Go for it. Was it 1d6 extra damage, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Did you use the bless bonus yet?
no,
Well, he's got
but this should
advantage.
give me advantage, so it shouldn't
Yeah,
matter.
so he's got 25. So you draw, you draw, and then you can add your 1d6. So you draw back your arrow and you let loose, and the arrow goes straight at it, and you know that was a perfect shot. You have no doubt in your mind it was a perfect shot. And as it hits the beast's hide, it just goes and glances completely off it. Rurik, you are up.
Sorry, I was muted. I will cast Witch Bolt at the beast.
Go for it.
Can I crit on spells? No.
Do you have advantage on it?
I
Yeah,
have
yeah,
an
you
inspiration if I want to.
you can crit on spells. I see why not. Well, no, it would have told us if you could crit on spells, wouldn't it? When it rolls the damage. Just roll your witch bolt, and it should Yeah, there you go. See, it crits. So,
So I use my inspiration, and I roll, and the cage reduce because Witch Bolt is a concentration.
So that's 12 points of Witch Bolt, lightning bolt flashes into them. This seems to have caused it some minor damage, and it howls for a brief moment. Bazooka, what would you like to do?
Castrate it.
Go for it.
I'll take a swing. Yeah.
16 a hit without your extra 1d4.
My other strike is...
That's 8. So is it 1d4, Tenariel?
It's not for extra damage. It's only to hit.
But that's just for that attack, to see if that attack becomes...
Yeah, to see whether or not that attack hits, because he's only got 8 at the moment.
Oh, so I roll 1d4.
1d4,
Yeah.
And it'll add it to the 8.
If you want to use it, you may not even be able to hit him with a 12.
Where's the 1d4? 1d4.
2, 10. Okay, the first attack hits, the second attack misses.
Okay. So I'll give him the damage. Oh my god. So 4.
4. So you whack it with your sickle, and again you whack it in, and you actually pierce its flesh, and you pull it down the length, leaving a huge gouge in the wolf's hide, and you pull it out, and as you watch it, the hide and the skin just slowly meshes together again.
Seen this before.
Julius, what would you like to do?
You're muted again.
I just popped off the protection from evil spell just as he hit me, didn't I?
Yeah.
Cool. So that spell now protects me. Hold on, let me just get this one straight because I've never used it before. Until the spell ends, one willing creature you touch is protected against types of creatures. So they get a disadvantage on attacks, I believe. So if I did it on myself, just as he hit me, I'll get... if he attacks me, he'll...
Hang on. Creatures that are aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, and undeads.
Yeah. Is he any of fiend?
No.
No.
Damn it.
And
Fiends are devils and demons.
Yeah, so just to let you know, those would also... They would have disadvantage on their attack rolls to you. And also, you cannot be charmed or frightened or possessed by them.
Great. Okay.
So you can still be charmed by, say, a harpy, but you can't be charmed by them. And if you're already charmed or possessed, then you have the advantage on the saving throw to get out of it.
Cool. Okay. So I'm going to try and roll him over and pin him.
Okay, then. So you just need to roll your athletics, please.
Okay. Athletics. Which I'm actually, apparently...
Not very good. Okay, so you try to start to heave and roll him over, and you actually get to the point that you think you're almost there. And as you just turn him, he actually looks at you once more and grins at you, and your eyes fix on each other, and he bounds quite easily up onto the roof and disappears into the night.
I was hoping I could pin him before he did that.
We're not letting him get away. Go and find whatever weapons to wait. Would I know silver would be effective, or do I want to nature check or anything to know what weapons would hurt him?
It's probably more of you can make a nature check. Yeah, you must have weapons forged of silver.
Forged of silver.
So
I shout, find whatever weapons made of silver you can. I'm going to chase after him, and I will leave marks so you can follow me. With that hunter's mark, I can track him better. I have an advantage on any survival or perception rolls to track him. So I'm going to chase after him.
Is it wise for you to go on your own against such a beast?
We cannot let him get away. He's going to wreak havoc on this town and anyone nearby.
I
No one
take
else
my
is in a
bedroll
position
and
to take him right now.
Try to stop the flames.
Right. Okay then. So what? So Rurik, you're trying to get rid of the flames. That's fine. So Aravol, you want to track this guy. Yeah. Tell me what your tracking skill does, please.
Tell me what my tracking skill does.
Yeah.
Or you mean the hunter's mark?
Yeah.
The hunter's mark gives me advantage on any perception or survival check to find it.
You can see the creature you can see within range mystically marked it as a cry until this spell ends. Mm-hmm. Okay, up to 1 hour. So
I have 1 hour to try and track wherever it's going.
So you are going to head off and follow the werewolf. Okay, Julius, what are you doing?
I look around. Do I see any buildings that might have what I think might have silver in, like the behind the bar or something like that? Is there like a mansion that or a building that might have?
Well, the thing that you probably need
find
to have
the blacksmiths or the weapons.
Yeah, you probably need to find the blacksmith and then see whether or not there's actually any weapons forged of silver.
I'm going to follow Aravol. Sorry, I have to go for a bio.
Yeah, hang on. So that's what I'm just going to sort out, and then we'll have a buy break. Bazooka, what would you like to do?
Julius, go steal the constable silver.
Bazooka, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna find a blacksmith if he can, or if he's got any weapons of silver.
Okay, so just before we go to the bio break, so Aravol and Tenariel, you're heading off after the werewolf. Julius and Bazooka, you're going to find silver weapons, and Rurik, you're going to put the fire out. Yeah. Okay, guys.
I'm gonna put the fire out and try to find silver.
Yeah. Okay. After that. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Right, guys. With that, we will go for a quick break. So we'll be about 5 minutes. Don't go away. So stop talking about your PayPal accounts. Okay, we are back. We are back in the exciting finale of this adventure, which is going wonderfully well at the present moment in time. Rurik is bashing against trying to stop fire, which is very good and very well done. And Bazooka and Julius is heading off trying to find silver weapons. I presume you're going to try to find silver weapons first, and then if in doubt find something that you can make into silver weapons.
Start looting the silverware at the end.
Yeah, and things like that.
Or at least melt some, see if we can melt some down so I can dip my sickles into them.
Yeah, and Ereval and Tenariel. Ereval has Hunter's Mark on the werewolf, which means that he can actually see it up to an hour, so he can carry on and track it as it heads back off in the general direction you think, guys, of the forest. Now, just while we're doing this, please remember there is a vote going on in the chat at the present moment in time, that you can vote for your favourite character, not your favourite player, your favourite character, who you think is the best character. So I've put them all up there. You can choose between Julius is number 1, Bazooka is number 2, Tenariel number 3, Ereval is number 4, Rurik is number 5, and whoever wins at the end actually gets a free point of inspiration next week. And you notice Rurik used his this week, I think. So yeah. That's it. So let's do one thing at a time here. So I'll come back to people. First thing I need to know, Ereval and Tenariel, I need to know your movement rates. Because obviously, if you're going to keep up with this wolf, if I need to match your movement rates to his movement rate. So even though you know where it is, you're going to have to keep up with it. So that's the first thing that we need to do.
35.
35, same.
Cool. Excellent. Okay.
And I get, if we get out of the town into the forest, my natural explorer will allow me to keep us moving even if there's rough terrain or difficult terrain.
Okay. So the other thing I need to know, and I need to know what your plan is. For example, if this wolf suddenly thinks, hang on, there's 2 people following me, and turns round to attack you, say, is it a case that you're going to fight it, or is it a case that you're going to turn around and start running back with it chasing you? What is your plan of action? That's what I need to know.
My intention was to actually use stealth because I've got pretty good proficiency in stealth as well.
Cool.
But I didn't know. I mean, I haven't been able to discuss this with Scenario following me. If that changes anything.
I'm not proficient in stealth, but I'll follow behind you at a distance if need be.
So the idea is to follow it, but just keep following it. And I think, does it last for an hour?
This spell lasts for an hour. If I gain sight of him towards the end of that, I can cast it again because I still have 2 more spell slots.
Yeah. Okay then.
So I can use all 3 of them on Hunter's Mark.
Is it the idea? What's the range of it? That's what I need to know. 90 feet. So
the 90 feet is for casting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Tell me why that's not an issue.
Well, tracking it, it doesn't matter if it gets out of that 90-foot range. I can still track it. It doesn't lose effect. Yeah, no, but what I'm saying, for example, is that if the werewolf is moving faster than you, it will increase it will naturally increase its range on you. So what I was going to say to you is that, are you going to get to the point that it's actually, how far are you going to let it get away from you before you actually recast Hunter's Mark?
Are you going to?
Although Hunter's Mark, I have to have line of sight, right?
Yeah.
Mark.
I think so.
No, I guess it doesn't say. It just says within. I have to be within 90 feet of it to recast it.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that if I am able to keep up with it, I get sight of him again, then I can recast it. My Natural Explorer will give me the ability to determine how old tracks are. So if I'm tracking it, if there is any indication of where he's been there, I can tell how far. If that number is increasing, obviously this plan isn't going to work.
So the wolf actually has a faster movement rate than you guys. So what I'm saying is that how far are you going to let it get ahead of you before you recast the Hunter's Mark on it?
80.
80 foot, yeah? And then carry on that, so forth and so on, yeah? And then
yes, if I'm still within 80 feet of it towards the end of an hour.
Yeah.
But if he's, okay.
Well, technically, every round, you are going to move 35 foot, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's going to move 40 foot.
Okay.
So so at the end of the first round, it's going to be 5 foot ahead of you, and then
so every minute he's gaining 50 feet on us.
He's not necessarily going to be running all night. He might just run for 20 minutes and hide up somewhere. We're still
especially
tracking
if he doesn't
him.
know he's being followed.
And that's the other issue that is
we won't know. So
no, and I'm just sort of like telling you now because that's the other thing is what we're going to have to do is match your stealth because quite naturally because he's a wolf, his sense of smell and hearing is quite acute. So there is that issue as well. So I was just trying to, and the other issue that I was thinking about just in the break is the issue of fatigue, because I was trying to think of how long can you actually go for and keep going for without, I was just thinking about, Legolas and Gimli and Aragorn when they're chasing the hobbits, I was just thinking, how long realistically can you go without, and I wondered what your constitutions were.
11.
They're taking the hobbits to Isengard.
My con is 10.
Right. So, really and truly,
What guard?
Really and truly, it's going to get to the stage that Tenariel, you might not be able to. What I don't want to do is go through rolls on everything. I'm trying to think of it as the bigger picture. There's going to get to the point, Tenariel, that you are not going to be able to keep up. You're going to be the first person who sort of like says, "I can't keep up."
Are you saying the dwarf is the best at running long distance?
Yeah, they're designed for long distance running, but so when it gets to that point, Tenariel, what's your plan of action?
I'll slow down. If I fall behind, I'll fall behind, but I'm very good at tracking, so I'll follow Aravol's trail.
Okay, then.
And keep going.
So you're both just going to head off, and until when? Give me an idea about the accumulation of when you're actually going to stop or give up or start to turn around. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I just need to get a general idea. So it might be that you say we'll carry on tracking it both separately until this happens, it starts to rest up, or if that doesn't happen, we start tracking it until it goes into the forest, or once it does something.
If I fall behind, I'll keep going until I catch up to Aravol, regardless.
Okay, good point. Okay, thank you. What about you,
And
Aravol?
I also told Tin Man, Julius, that we would mark our trail as we went, and the way of doing that without slowing us down, I was thinking, was making notches in trees with my hand apps at certain points to make it easier for all of them to follow.
That's absolutely fine, but that doesn't answer my question.
Oh well, I just mean if he's going to fall behind, then he'll still have an easier time catching up, just at a slower pace.
Yeah, I need to know what you are going to do. So how far are you going to carry on? Are you going to just track him, the wolf, endlessly?
If it comes to it, if he doesn't stop, I will go until I'm exhausted.
Okay.
I will then rest, see if they catch up. If they don't, then I'm going to keep following.
So just to let you know, both of you are probably going to be separated and probably in the forest. If you remember, Clarion sits on a river, and the path goes back away from the river, and then it goes into a forest on your right hand side. And this is where the group before encountered the spiders and the bears and things like that. So it's not an elven glade forest. It's a nasty forest, if that makes sense. So both of you will be deep inside that forest by the time, obviously Tenario, you'll be the first person who's sort of like wheezing and sort of like trying to catch your breath, will actually say, go on, I'll follow you. I can do my normal tracking skill. And Ervol, you will pursue even further. And this werewolf appears to have almost like a natural amount of energy,
stamina.
And stamina, and it even to the point. And even though you do lose the track every now and again, because you suddenly see that it's actually jumping up onto sides of trees and then hopping through the branches for a while, then coming back down. And it doesn't seem to be following an exact path. It just seems to be going in random direction. It's not like following a path. It's going through the deepness of the forest, which is good and it's allowing your natural pursuing skills that allows you to cross over difficult terrain. And it's probably only because of that you're actually being able to follow it. You do follow it for, it's not minutes that you're following it, it's actually for hours. Mm-hmm. And every now and again the wolf stops and lets out a howl. And it's the first time it does it, you hear it and you probably stop for a while and you don't hear anything else. But the second time it does it, you sort of like hear far off to your left, you hear like an echoing return howl. And then the next time it does it, you hear an echoing sound from not only the left, but from the right. And it's almost as if it's collecting something or calling things to it. You've probably been following it now for a good 6 hours, and you are really deep within the forest. Tenario, you are quite a way behind, but tracking and following up. So we'll nip now back to the town, okay, because we've got some work to do here. So Rurik, you with your blanket, you bash away at the building, and a lot of other guardsmen come out and try help you stop the actual fire. Okay, Julius and Bazooka, what would you like to do?
Shall we go to the blacksmith first?
Yeah.
See if there's anything there that we can find that's weapons or ingots or anything like that.
Yeah. Okay. So the blacksmith is quite deserted, obviously because of the plague. There's the forge isn't on. There's a variety of weapons hanging up. Does any of you have a sort of like a skill that would help you identify which is the metal ones? Or do you just want to use your perception
I'm
one?
sort of a master in all weapons, so I'm guessing if I'm a master in all weapons,
I think
I would know what they're made of.
I think that allows you to fight with all weapons. I didn't know whether or not, like some people have history. Does any of you have like blacksmithing as a skill?
I'm
No.
proficient with smithing tools.
But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, if I'm fighting with weapons, or if anyone's fighting with weapons, you would know what you're fighting with.
I think your proficiency is with fighting with weapons, not making weapons.
You can probably
Oh no,
tell the
I'm not
difference between a
saying
long
I'm not
sword and a
saying
short
I'm
sword.
making
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, I'm sure I would recognize if it was iron or tin or.
Yeah, it's if
Silver.
we had a
Okay, then,
picked up
so
some-
that's fine then. So roll your intelligence, because that's what it would hit back onto.
Okay.
I just didn't wonder. I wondered whether or not any of you had a sort of like a blacksmithing. So Bazooka sort of like spends some time looking around the blacksmith, using his skill of using a whole load of weapons, using his knowledge, his intelligence, and sort of like looks around and sort of like turns around to you, Julius, and says, "No, there's no silver weapons here, none here at all."
do I believe him?
Yeah, I mean he is a master of weapons. Remember.
Oh yeah.
Well, you can still make your own investigation. You're both searching
Yeah.
the blacksmith.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is,
Cryptex. I assume that's what they were doing, so I took the advantage
yeah.
of the roll.
Never mind. I'll stay out of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I took the 8 rather than the 4 because that was the advantage.
Can I say so? There's no weapons there, but are there any?
Oh, there's plenty of weapons.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any silver ingots that we can use, or silver tools? Anything?
No, as far as you're concerned, the blacksmith. The probably the next best thing to do would be to actually try to find the blacksmith, and sort of like ask him if there's any silver weapons in the actual in Clarion. Or
Is the blacksmith shop like up against a house? They normally live like right next to their.
yeah, you're right. He does actually live right next to his house, but his house is one of those that is actually boarded up with the red cross over it at the present moment in time.
I turn to Bazooka. Shall we try the church to see if the bloke does these weapons here is up there?
yeah, do whatever.
So we then run to the church.
Cool. Okay then. So, let's say, for example, that he hasn't succumbed to the fungal plague. We'll cut you some slack. And he is coming round from the fungal plague, and he says to you, just like Aravol was saying beforehand, he doesn't actually have any silver weapons, but if you collected some silver items, he would be able to melt them down and probably make some things for you. Probably, depending how much silver you find for him, probably a couple of arrowheads, maybe some kind of a dagger or a knife. But if you wanted, it would take quite a bit of silver to actually forge a sword, rather than, and probably good quality silver as well. He says the other, yeah, go for it. Sorry.
Have we finished with him, or
If you want to ask him anything, yeah. No, it's up to you.
I ask him if he knows any such items within the village?
He says many of the rich people, like the mayor, maybe the sheriff, yeah, they might have some silver goods in their actually abode, in the houses, and they might be able to do it.
I turn to Bazooka then. Shall we try the mayor?
Yeah.
Get into-
If you want, we'll split up. You go to the mayor, I go to the sheriff.
Yeah.
I have to rob him anyway.
I tap him on the shoulder. Killing. But it's like, for me, I don't want to steal because that's against my.
Well, yes, Yeah.
Okay.
So
I'll do it then.
But I can't have him do it in the knowledge that I know that he's going to do it either, because again, I have to.
It's for the greater good.
The greater good.
Yeah, go
Does it
for
count
it.
as stealing if they're already dead? You can find out if the people that have died and just go to their houses.
So you do have two ways that you could. Well, you have three ways of doing it. The first way you could do it is actually with a persuasion check, and so you could do that, which is the nice way. Which I think, Julius, you're quite good at that, because I think naturally paladins' charismas are quite high.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the nice way of doing it. The second way to do it would be an
Intimidation.
an intimidation check, which is a little bit more bruising than the perception. So perception is almost like saying nice words. Intimidating is a lot more threatening. You know, if you don't give it to me, this will happen. Then the other way to do it is just like a normal charisma check for anybody who doesn't have those skills. And then finally, the fourth way is just to hack his head off and take his silver. So
I'm going to go the nice route.
Cool.
Being the nice guy that I am.
Yeah. So you sort of like knock on the mayor's door, and luckily there's not a red cross on this door. And if you remember, he's quite an elderly man, and he comes down with his sort of like his nightgown on and his sort of like his sleeping cap on, and he sort of like peers at you in the night air and sort of like goes, "Yes."
Sorry to disturb you, Sir Mayor. We seem to have a little problem with. I look around, make sure no one's around.
Yeah. We don't want to invoke village panic. Yeah.
Yeah. Beast werewolf problem that we're trying to sort out.
He says we have a werewolf problem in the town.
I kind of fill him in with the captured. Fill him in with the captured. What has happened?
Oh, he says, "Is it still in the town then, or has it left?"
Currently, it has seemed to have left. However,
it's still in the town.
Yeah, he just tells him. I kind of look at him, look at Bazooka. It's like. And we were wondering if we could use your silver to create weapons to battle and kill this beast.
Oh, right. Roll your persuasion now.
Okay.
Just so you know, the DC is 12.
Okay.
Oh, I really don't.
Isn't Big Beastie helping him?
I was gonna say, could I not give him the
a
advantage?
situation?
Tell him, look, this beast has got big fangs and scary and stuff.
So let's.
It's gonna run through your village and probably kill everyone
And
if
the
we don't
fact that
stop it.
it can turn other people into werewolves as well.
Yeah, the only issue with that, Vol, would be that he's not actually proficient in persuasion or intimidation. He's proficient in stealth, survival, athletics, and deception. So, I think it's hard
Well,
to
hold
sort of-
on. He did intentionally deceive him during that speech about telling him the werewolf is still in the town. So he could potentially make a deception check to help bolster Julius as well.
So you want him to make a deception check. So you want them to lie to.
I'm not.
Well, yeah. So Julius, it's up to you. Cryptex is in the middle of the forest, but by all means, you decide what you want to do. So you can either go with the roll, Julius, or you can take on Ervol's advice and Thimibob. Bazooka can roll a deception check with the advantage. Completely up to you.
Just go with it.
I can't.
We failed the roll at the end of the day.
I can't go with it. Because again, paladin.
Okay, so alternatively, Bazooka, what you can actually do is jump in now and actually do some talking to him, and then actually roll your deception, but you wouldn't have advantage with it.
Okay. So I'm going to jump in and say, look, he's being too nice here. Your town or this town is in grave danger. This beast is skirting around the outskirts. Not only have you got a plague on your hand, but now you've got like a werewolf infestation going on.
Okay, go for it. Roll your deception.
Please do it. Maybe I should have blessed you.
Now, Cryptex, is there anything else you want them to do with their roll? You are quite welcome to contribute anything else to get them to get that roll.
This is over the comms. I can hear him over the comms. Sorry, wrong game.
You are totally... Anything else you want to slip in there? Maybe a survival check? Or... athletics, maybe a performance. Maybe Bazooka could do a strange dance.
Can I do athletics and stealth? So like I do flip flop, sneak in.
I think what you might want to do is stand in the middle of the street and do that and see whether or not anybody gives you a silver candlestick. That might be.
Can I go to the bank?
A way forward. There's not a bank, so to speak. Everybody keeps their own money. There is, however.
Coinage change? Or?
No, they keep there's no. I mean, gold's very rare in Clarion because it's not actually a big town, you know.
Okay. Here's what I'm gonna do.
I have got
302 gold. I have 302 gold on me.
Yeah,
I want to transform that into silver.
Yeah,
I was trying to change my gold pieces to silver.
Yeah,
pieces.
so we can look at that as an option, but the other option that you've still got open is that you do have the sheriff to go to, if you remember. Yeah. So you still have that option to go and do the same thing if you wish. So Julius, you can actually go and do exactly the same role with the sheriff. And then Bazooka, if that doesn't work, you can also make a deception roll and see whether or not you can convince.
Okay.
Is the persuasion?
Yes. See, you don't need to. So the sheriff is quite worried, and if you remember, he's quite a rotund man, you know, who hasn't seen his feet for some years, and he's sort of like quite worried about this, and he sort of like goes around his abode, his house, and he manages to bring back to you 2 candlesticks, a small silver box, and a silver pendant, and he sort of goes, "Take these to defeat the werewolf. Just take them now," you know, and he's quite sort of like pleased that he's helped in the cause of supporting you with this.
I asked him before we leave. I asked him if he would like a prayer of over him and his house in thanks for the gifts.
Oh, he says he would love that. With, if at all possible, a splashing of holy water would be absolutely fantastic.
I'd back away.
As well.
I'd back well away from this.
I thought he was going to say if Tenariel could come.
Big beastie. Forged letter of Tenariel to the constable.
So so you've got some silver there. The other way you can get silver is, as Rurik sort of like suggested, is to exchange your gold for the peasants, the people who live here, their silver. and almost like say, you give us 10 silver coins and we'll give you a gold, because gold is quite rare in Clarion because it's sort of like a mediocre village. The villagers are quite happy to do this, but they're quite
Sick.
acute with this, and astute, sorry. They're quite astute with this, and they're not actually willing to, they sort of like say in Clarion, they're not going to give you 10 silver for 1 gold.
They want to make money.
Yeah. They'll actually give you they want to give you 6 silver for
Then
1 gold.
I will say we'll stay here and rot then.
And they say they said that's absolutely fine. No worries.
That's fine by me.
I do take them up on it and give them 10 gold.
Okay, so you can have that. So if you knock off that 10 gold, you can have some silver coins, which will help you you'll probably be able to, from what you've got now, you figure, Rurik, do you have blacksmithing? Is it you that has blacksmithing?
Yeah.
Yeah. You from yeah, go for it.
Can I know a way to not create weapons from silver, but like coating our weapons with it?
Well, it actually has to be made of silver to affect werewolf, because if it's just plated, it doesn't actually have the power to sort of like cut through the flesh. But what you can do now is that from what you've got there, you can sort of like thinking, ooh, I know what we can actually make. Okay, and you figure that you've got, and this is the total amount. This is not either or. You figure you've got enough for 4 arrowheads, okay, and you've got enough for more of a silver knife rather than a dagger. So quite a. If I say like, is it a Bowie knife? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
A Bowie knife. Yeah, quite not a flimsy dagger, quite a substantial knife.
Butter knife.
Yeah.
No. Rambo knife.
Like a So, like a So
no, not cookery. Just a normal straight blade.
It's a bit shorter than a machete.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
So it's quite a substantial weapon, but it's not. It'll probably do about 1d4 plus 2 amount of damage rather than the normal 1d4, and you'll get 4 arrowheads as well. And the blacksmith does comment that silver weapons are probably more abundant in places like Thorndyke, which is the big nearby town, as you know.
We can't take this infestation. If he's still chasing after us, I don't know that he's collecting other werewolves to him, but if we go to Thorndyke, he'll come to us, and we can't have that.
Or he'll come to you.
Yeah.
Either
Exactly.
way.
I like the way you use the plural there.
I slipped it in.
Yeah.
Just a tip.
Okay. Let's.
You do what you want to do. I think my magic penetrated defense.
Yeah, it looked like it actually did. So, Duelist, Bazooka, and Rurik, do you want the blacksmith to start working on these items?
What I was going to ask is, how long's all this taking? Because bearing in mind, Cryptex.
Yeah,
Aravol's still chasing.
Yeah, this is happening at the same time. So they were doing it for about 6 hours. So this is your 6 hours of of activity. And then in a second, what I was going to say is that if you want the blacksmith to start working on these, then he will start working on this, and I'll zip back to Eravol and
I was just going to nip off for a second.
Could I help the blacksmith? It will remind me some good time from the mines.
Yeah. Do you have like a blacksmithing skill or anything like that, or you just?
Yes, I'm proficient in
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
smithing.
I wouldn't use that roll if you could. He sort of like says,
It's
"Yes."
not that perfect.
He goes. Yes, young dwarf. Let's see your your skill with a hammer. And you go, and he says,
And he drops it on
and
his
he says, go and press the bellows. You just like,
He didn't actually pick up the hammer. He picked up the top.
yeah, he just picked up, and he actually went and it hit himself on the head, and then that was it. So
and now he's sleeping.
and yeah. So that's busy happening in Clarion, and we will zip back to Ereval and Tenariel. So Tenariel, you are at the present moment in time not here, but she is following the trail that you've left Ereval to catch up with you. So that's
How long was she able to keep up with me?
Well, she's. I think her constitution is only like one less of yours, so
Yeah.
she probably lost you in the last hour or something like that.
Okay.
But you have noticed that the werewolf has actually gone into what appears to be some kind of cave, but it's probably more of a barrow. So there's not a huge bit of rock in the middle of nowhere. It looks like there's some kind of burial mound here, and one side of it has been. I'm assuming you're not right next to it. Assuming
Right.
that you're keeping some distance away, but you do notice that it's gone inside it, and it's sort of like there seems to be some kind of well-trodden entrance. And while you're sort of like hanging back and just sort of like keeping an eye on it, and the reason you're doing this is because your keen survival sense is actually picking up other things approaching. And it's before, it's only like a minute before you notice that other wolves start to approach from other directions and go into this cave. A lot of them are scenting it as they go in, and then they seem to go in, and it's quite dark. It seems to go down on quite a steep level. So what else is down there? You think it must be a lot bigger than the actual barrow, because there's quite a few wolves going in there. They're varying in size. Some of them are as big as this first one. Some of them seem to be juvenile wolves. Some of them seem to be female. Some of them seem to be male. You count up to somewhere between 27 up to about 30 odd, all going into this. Some of them are grey. Some of them are brown. Some of them are white. And they all seem to be going down into this barrow. And you notice that you just think that the last one has probably gone into it. When you suddenly notice, make a perception check. Yeah, you suddenly notice that you think the entrance is unguarded, but your keen elven eyes pick up that just inside the entranceway, there's probably 2 werewolves sat there, and they're sat on their haunches. They're not like stood up like weremen or anything like that. They're sort of like sat on their haunches, and you can see that. I mean, using your keen hunter and survival abilities, you sort of like figured out not to be upwind of them and things like that. But so you're quite safe. But they are keeping a very keen eye on what's going on. You also can hear from within the barrow. Every now and again, there's this this almost like echoey howl, as if in agreement, as if to say, yeah, we agree with that. But apart from that, you can't hear any talking or anything like that. Tenariel, you hear a twig snap behind you, and Tenariel appears. So you two are now together, rather hot and sweaty. Your time together in the forest, rather rosy red faces.
When I hear Tenariel, I'll briskly gesture for her to get down, to stay low, and silently point out as much as I can to her what I've seen.
Yeah, so he sort of like points out what. Did you hear it all, Sprocketeer, or not?
Yeah, most of it.
Yeah. So that's it.
What time is it now? It's been about 6 hours. It'll be about 4-ish.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're probably getting close. The sky's probably just turning now in the distance. So pretty soon you think the sun will be. It's that wonderful time when the sky is actually that bluey, dusky, purpley colour, but the sun's not up yet. But you figure probably in an hour the sun will rise and this area will be bathed in sunlight.
So probably spend about an hour watching this burrow and the activity going on, getting a sense for it, and then falling back the way that we came along that same trail, maybe about 200 feet, and start resting and waiting for the rest of the party to see if they catch up. I will offer Tenario a chance to rest, to meditate while I stand guard, and then switch when she's done, if it gets that long.
Okay. Okay, guys, you need to make. I've got some experience points for you. So where I'm going to stop it at the present moment in time is to say that Julius, Bazooka, and Rurik, you will have the weapons made at when we stop it, and Ervol and Tenariel, you will be at the barrow, as the sun comes up. And at that point, now I do have some experience points to give you. I don't know how many experience points you've already got, and whether or not this will take you over the limit. These experience points includes the wolves today. Okay, so it includes the wolves today, and it includes everything from the boars onwards. Okay, so it includes the boars, the harpies, the gargoyles, everything in the room, the water weird, etc., etc. So this is
mansion?
No, you've had that. You've had the mansion.
I did.
Where everybody's had that. So this is your share. Okay, so your share is 860 experience points each. Now, I don't know whether or not does that take you up levels or not?
It does for me. I was at
2030.
3,165.
What's the level, Mark?
2,700 for your fourth level, I believe.
Let me just check so I'm sure, because I don't know.
Yeah. Just hit 3,000.
Yeah, it's for fourth level. It's 2,700.
And then I get an extra 10,000 for a self-sacrifice.
Yeah. So who's actually gone to fourth level then? Have you all gone to fourth level?
I need to check mine because I know rock gnomes or unknowns are like harder to level up at the start.
I'm above 4 level.
Should all be on the same.
Yeah, I think. Hang on, because I've got me.
I think it's like 4,000 for my next level. I'm pretty sure it's like 4,000 something.
I think everybody.
I thought all classes were the same. I didn't know there was a racial.
Hang on, I'm just checking.
It's only if like you have a class race like a Minotaur would be like level 1, and we will be level 4.
Yeah, no, there's no difference. No difference at all. So,
really?
So 2,700 would be your... what's yours, Julius? Are you...
He's muted.
All right. I'll just ignore him then.
What were you, big beastie? A rock gnome, did you say?
I'm a rock gnome. Fire.
Why did I think you were a dwarf? I'm sure you were a
That's the
dwarf.
dwarf.
So
Mine's now at 1,765.
you're at what, Si?
1,765.
With the 860?
That
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
Oh, because he joined
Later.
later.
No, you joined before I did. I think you missed a round of XP that didn't get added.
I think
Me. I think we. I think.
Who missed a session?
I know
'Cause
I did.
There was 1 week 3 of us played, and I think, was it 2 people were missing?
Like 2 weeks ago, Julius.
Me, Bazooka,
yeah,
and
that was all taken into account with the ability scores. So the thing is, to be honest with you, if everybody needs the same amount, surely you all must have leveled at the same time.
Yeah.
So anyway, what I was going to say is that Eravol and Tenariel, if you've leveled, okay, then in order to go, because I think you'll get an ability score improve, or a feat.
Or a feat.
Right.
Yeah. Now I'm quite happy to allow you to have feats at 4th level if that's what you want to do, because there's some nice ones out there, which I'm quite
come in handy for running.
I'm quite happy for. I think things like sharpshooter be really nice. The only thing that I would say to you is that if you could let me know what you're thinking about having, so I can have a look at it, just to say, well, hang on a minute, that's way too powerful, or yeah, that's absolutely fine, and then we go for it. The only thing I'm saying though is that Eravil and Tenariel, if you want to level up, then you can't do it in a forest. You're going to have to come back to Clarion to actually level up, and for example, learn your feat, etc., etc. And then we can start off again, because some of you will either have ability scores improves, or you might have feats.
I'm just going to go for ability increases on it.
Yeah, well, it'd be completely, and even if you got an abilities, which ability score are you planning on increasing to now?
Wisdom to 18.
Yeah,
that'll give me another point of.
So that's what I'm thinking. So you will spend some time in the church, praying, etc., to gain that wisdom, rather than
the increases that you get from leveling doesn't represent a single overnight. It's everything we've been doing since the last time we leveled.
Yeah, but but that's
homage to the old way of doing D&D, where you.
Yeah, but if you think about that, Eravol, that actually falls short. It's a bit like, say for example, I've never fired an arrow, and then suddenly say I want sharpshooter. Right. Then that wouldn't pay homage to everything I've ever done. So how I view it is that it is something that you do, and it's something that you learn, but at the same time you don't just wake up. So for example, if Bazooka wanted to increase his strength, he's probably been working on that a lot, but if he wanted to increase his intelligence, then he probably hasn't been working on that. So what I do as the DM is that I look at what you want and sort of think that's fine. And say, for example, if you wanted to learn how to do twin weapons, say, I might say, right, you need to find a trainer to do that. But if you wanted to do something with your bow, then I would say, well, that's fine. A couple of days practice, and that would actually fit into it quite nicely. So rather than just waking up and it's done, there's that bit of time that you actually work on it. Or you might need a trainer. And that's why I said, let me know what feats you want or ability scores you want to know. And then I can feed it into the game and sort of think, well, that's all right. You need to do that. You need to do that. And then that would be it completed.
But when you level up abilities, I think it's 2. It's I mean,
It's 2 points
it's
or
like,
1 and 2 points.
Yeah.
Scores.
So it's either 2 points on one or 1 point on two. Yeah. So it would be
In
up
the
to you.
future,
Yeah.
when we're planning on leveling up, is this something we can work out ahead of time? Like if we know we need a trainer for a skill that we want to add on at the next level, can we do that as
Yeah,
we're
'cause-
progressing, and then when you hit that level, like, okay, now I've gained this skill that I've been preparing.
I think well, it depends. It depends what it is that you want to level up and how you want to do it. I quite like the idea of the game becoming something that you do in downtime and that you actually work on it, and actually then so it's giving you the opportunity to do other things as well. I quite like the idea of having downtime. For example, Rurik or Julius or somebody might want to spend more time looking at the books, you know, so that might be a downtime action that people can say to me, I really like to do that, you know, rather than just saying the adventure continues non-stop right the way through it. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so I think what the best thing to do, if everybody's happy with it, is for Aravol and Tenariel, you know where this place is now. There's quite I don't think it would be a good idea for you guys to wade in at the present moment in time until you've got some kind of weapons to maybe defeat or engage with them. So it's probably a good time for you to come back into town, and then people can let me know in the Discord what sort of like level improvements they want to do. And then if you want to take feats instead of your ability score improved, then that's absolutely fine. And then if you tell me what you want, then I can say, no, that's absolutely fine. You know, if Aravol wants to take sharpshooter, I can say, yeah, he's been practicing his bow a lot, so that would be a natural progression. Well, if somebody wants to take something that is completely different, then there would be a gap in there to take some training. Or what I might say, just to follow up on Aravol's point, is that I might say, okay, then you can have that skill. Okay, so if somebody, say for example, Tenariel, you wanted to fight with 2 weapons, and that was a feat that you could get, then I might say, okay, then you can be 4th level, but you won't actually get that feat until you've actually fought with 2 weapons for a period of time. So you need to actually practice doing that throughout the adventures to actually gain that skill. So almost like the same as what Aravol's saying, but in reverse, you know, then that would be it. Okay, guys.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, sorry, go for it.
No, I was just about to say I found out what I was on about not leveling up properly. It's the fact that I'm a fighter. My next thing is level 7.
Oh no, you're not level 7. I'm sorry.
No, that's what I'm saying. My next ability is level 7.
Yeah, I think you get. I think as a fighter at level, I
get nothing at level 4.
Yeah, no, everybody
At level 5, you get an extra attack.
Yeah,
You get a hit point increase, and then you get the ability or the feats.
Yeah, so
Even if you don't get it.
Yeah, so the fighter, you get your ability score improve. You'll get extra hit points, and then you won't gain. You don't get anything else at that point until you get to 5th. You get your extra attack, which is nice, you know, and then it's onward from there. Okay, so we will leave it there for this week and see what. Welcome back, Tenariel. It's lovely to have you back, and I think Tenariel, you'll have some things to do in the downtime. That will be beneficial for you to do. Brilliant. So let's quickly go round and say where people can find you in the coming week. So we'll start off with you, Sprocketeer. Go for it.
Oh, well, where am I going to be? I'm playing Curse of Strahd tomorrow at 1 p.m. in Fuzzy Blue Mushroom Stream.
BST?
Yep. No, you... oh, yeah. Whatever. I always get confused with it. We've got 3 different time zones.
Yeah, we're definitely British summertime now, despite the weather.
And then Monday night, 11 p.m. Skageth's first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes, I saw that being created last night.
I saw you watching it be cremated.
Cremated?
Yeah, Skageth burned it all in disgust.
You know that I think that's probably might be a word you might be using throughout the advantage. Throughout the adventure.
Advantage?
Yeah. I was reading something in the chat. That was all.
Have we been drinking?
So lost last session because everything we thought we remembered about first edition. Bear in mind, 37 years ago when we started, we just forgot everything when we sat down to play. We just didn't have a clue what we were doing. It was so strange.
No,
but it's been great fun.
I think that's always the case, isn't it? You always sort of like think, and then it'll be interesting how many rules from 5th edition you suddenly think is in 1st edition, but really and truly they do they have Thaco then in 1st edition?
In 1st edition, yeah, that's where it comes from.
So
it took us an hour to find it in the books.
Really, and then you have different tables, don't you? So
oh my god, it's a nightmare.
So fighters actually hit better than magic users.
Every class has its own experience point table, so every class levels at a different pace.
I remember it was. I always remember playing a magic user and finding out that despite only having 1d4 and having darts and one first level spell, I think I had one.
Start with one
so it's
spell.
better now.
Oh, it's
what I'm saying.
My rogue has 1 hit point plus his con bonus, so I started with 2 hit points.
Yeah.
Got into a fight, and the guy hit me for 1 point of damage, and I nearly died.
Yeah.
1 point of damage.
And it's Miles. I quite like the idea now. I really love the idea that they did with spells, and the way that I think Unearthed Arcana brought in cantrips was nice, but now a lot of the first level spells that used to be in Advanced Dungeons and Dragons are now cantrips, like light.
My one bug with cantrips is there's no healing cantrips.
No, that is true.
But there's plenty that cause damage.
Yeah,
and I think that's sadly lacking.
What's the minimum? What's cure light wounds? What's the dice on that?
D8.
Yeah, so they could quite easily bring in one that does 1d4.
I mean, the cleric in our party.
Bury a cantrip?
Yeah, that's what I was just.
Yeah, I think so.
It's what side?
Originally.
Good Berry was a cantrip healing spell.
Oh yeah.
It used to be, I think.
No, it's a spell.
It's
I have
druid now.
no idea what you're.
So yeah, I used to remember being a first level magic user with my deciding whether or not I should take sleep or magic missile and saving it throughout the dungeon, thinking, do I cast it now? No. Do I cast it now? No. And what weapon do you take? Do you take darts so you can just sort of like lob them right the way through? Anyway, those
first edition was so good.
Those were the days. Those were Thacos, yeah. Okay, and next, Clout, where can we find you?
Muted.
Muted.
You can find me in this lovely game of Finwells.
Yeah.
And you can also find me in all those streamers there.
Yeah, you pop in very well, and it's always nice to see you. And in Discord as well. It's lovely. Excellent. Oh, let me do some shout-outs while you're talking, because I always forget about that. And Big Beast, Sprocketeer, do you stream it?
All the games I'm in are streamed, yes. The D&D first edition's on Skageth's.
Oh, right. I'll put Skageth's up then. Right, and Big Beastie.
Okay, I am Big Beastie. You can find me on my channel sometimes playing lots of different games. Seeing I'm a variety streamer that doesn't just play. Anyway. You can also find me on a Tuesday in this channel playing some Shadowrun, and And everyone else's that streams here, I'll be in their channels lurking or doing stuff and things.
Excellent. And across there, down there to Flat Battery.
Hi guys, I'm Flat Battery. You can find me on my channel, twitch.tv/Flat Battery, with a link provided as well. I'm a variety streamer that does try to do other games as much as he can when life doesn't take over. Later on, I'm going to try to see if PUBG works. If it doesn't, I'll be moving on to a squad.
Are you actually going to stream after this, even though you've got company tonight?
I did ask for permission.
Wow, you need permission. Wow, how exciting.
Is he married?
She's got a book. Sorry.
She's got
The
what?
leisure state.
She's
got a
got.
book.
I thought she said she's got a butt, as in a B-U-T-T. I was like, I'm pleased to hear it.
Definitely got one of them.
Oh, ouch. Okay, and moving on. Just down there we have Cryptex81.
Yes, you can find me on my channel as well. Actually, tomorrow morning for me, it'll be 5 p.m. GMT. I'll be picking up with the next round of Walking Dead New Frontier.
Yeah.
And I may be streaming some Hitman after that as well.
Fantastic. Excellent. And you can find me here because this is my channel. And I will be back tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock BST, when I will be continuing to struggle playing Elder Scrolls Online, trying to level my Templar, that is a healer, and spends a lot of time kiting and dying. But I am not giving up. I'm going to carry on. I'm 36, so I'm over halfway. I'm going to make it. Okay, guys, thank you very much for coming along to support the channel tonight. I really do appreciate you turning up. I hope you've enjoyed it. And we will be back next Saturday at 8 o'clock. As the adventure continues. Maybe we'll have some new characters because players will have the option now to swap if that's what they wish to do before we start off the next part of the campaign. But the rest of them will be 4th level with new ability scores, new feats, so they will be absolutely unstoppable. Until then, I would just like to say to each and every one of you, have fun, guys. And I'll catch you all later. And until then, consider yourself waffled. See ya. Bye.
Bye.